Hi there everyone, this is Maureen Maher coming to you from our training center in Montreal, and we are having a snowy early start to the winter, but I'm creating this video because I wanted to share with you some decisions that we've made that I think you'll actually be really happy about. I've been talking to our students for the last little while, and this is something that I've been aware of since last spring, is our online courses being offered in US funds, which is something that we switched to just to standardize things years ago, since our online learning audience is international and the international standard of currency is the US dollar. So it just made sense to keep things simple, less confusing. But now we're at a time in our economy in Canada where the Canadian dollar is really not on par with the American dollar. I checked yesterday and you need $1.40 Canadian to buy $1 American dollar. And that is affecting people's ability to afford to enroll in some of our online courses because our online platform is all in US dollars. And so what I've decided to do is a little bit in line, well, actually quite in line, come to think of it, I wish I had thought of it earlier, with the philosophy that we developed during the pandemic, where we wanted to make continuing education accessible for people. There were places throughout Canada or even elsewhere in the world where people were locked down for long periods of time, and we did what we could, not just to help boost your morale by saying, you know, use this time where you're stuck at home wisely to advance your skills so that when you do get back to work, you'll have something more to offer and you'll be excited about it. But also to give a bit of a break financially and, you know, just to be supportive of the osteopathic community throughout the world, we gave partial scholarships. And so now I realize that we don't know when this Canadian dollar is going to come back up on par. I think we need Stephen Harper to come back to do that, but that's another story. And so what I want to do is I want to put across the board a 20% discount for our Canadian manual practitioners only, for all of our online courses that are self-paced. You'll see that coming up in the near future, we're going to be launching some subscriptions and a whole new model that we think that you'll like. But as a result, we will not be launching courses with a start date anymore. We're going to have our subscriptions and we're going to have self-paced courses. I'm doing this also based on your feedback. Our students tell us that they really like when we offer them self-paced courses. It suits them, it works for them. And two of our most important programs, which is our pediatric osteopathy certification program, you know, is self-paced, even though I stay in touch with my students and I kind of try to keep them on track time-wise so that they finish the program within less than 2 years. Also, our new combination of part 1 and part 2 cranial osteopathy is now 165-hour course. It's needed. It makes it a little bit more expensive, but part 2, learning about the different cranial patterns of dysfunction, is, you know, irreplaceable, extremely important for you to be able to go on and know how to treat pediatrics and even pregnant women. Those are the 2 courses for which our cranial courses or similar training that you have is a prerequisite. And so we didn't do it for business reasons. We did it because I've seen over the last couple of years with some of our level 2 and level 3 courses, how people who had not learned how to identify and correct the different cranial patterns of dysfunction were not really properly equipped to be able to work properly with newborns or work properly with pregnant women. And so we've combined that into one 65-hour course. What we've done differently and what we're going to be doing more in the near future is to be including mentoring hours in the course. So either they are included in your enrollment or with our upcoming subscriptions, they will be optional that you can have at a reduced rate than what our instructors or myself usually charge an hourly basis for virtual mentoring sessions. And we've already started doing that with some of our students. It's going really well. It allows me to be able to keep track of my students, have you not feel so alone, but also to be able to monitor you and give you the answers and feedback that you know when you come to the point in time in the course when you're doing your hands-on practice. But the most important announcement that I wanted to make today is that And the reason why I started talking about the cranial course and our pediatrics program is that they will also be included in the courses that will now be available at a 20% discount for all of our Canadian-based practitioners, those and our self-paced courses. Why just Canada? Well, for the same reason why when Australia was in horrible lockdown at one point, we gave partial payment plans. We gave partial scholarships to people in that area because they were hurting badly. There was a time in Ontario, I think they went into lockdown during the pandemic 3 different times. So there was times that we did supportive measures to try to make continuing education accessible, which is an important part of our motto and what we strive to do here at the Center for Continuing Education of Osteopathy and Manual Therapy. And I think it's really needed at this time when people are feeling that they're hurting and that they want to be able to engage in continuing education. But I know for a fact that it's not that people don't want to learn with us, it's that very often it's a question of budget. And so I don't feel that it's fair when I look at our American counterparts who are taking online courses with us that are paying in American dollars and they're paying the fee, the enrollment fee that we've set, and we haven't changed our course costs unless we've actually restructured the program, like we restructured our pediatric osteopathy certification program to include a lot more, to include 4 90-minute mentoring sessions with myself, which is worth several $100s. But all of our other courses, we have not changed or increased the enrollment fees since they were launched, which could be anywhere from 5 to 7 years ago. But I feel that it's not fair that the Canadian practitioners are finding themselves having to deal with a bill where when they see the conversion rate that their bank does if they're paying by credit card or by PayPal, that they're paying significantly more. It might mean more profit for us, but that's not the way in which we want to make profit. We want to make profit because we have a lot of people that are coming and wanting to take advantage of the knowledge that we have to offer. In the end, teaching and sharing the knowledge that myself and our other instructors have is a labor of love. It is a duty that I feel that I should have to pass on my knowledge to the next generation of osteopaths. And I really enjoy mentoring my students. And so that's why either including mentoring sessions in your enrollment, look at that when you actually look at the course page, and please try to take the time to read through that, or you also have the option, and you will, to reserve mentoring sessions with me on a pay-as-you-go basis. So for some people, they really would like to have that. They see that as a great value. And also in terms of your continuing education credits, you know that in some associations, one-on-one hours, like classroom hours, so one-on-one hours of mentoring with your instructor is the same thing as a classroom hour. That's how it counts for your CEUs. Hands-on practice hours is sometimes a different category, and then online learning hours is different. So if you want mentoring and you want to be able to fulfill your CEUs for one-on-one hours, then that counts for that. So that's helpful. But our most important news is if you are a Canadian-based practitioner and you want to take one of our self-paced courses or enroll in our program, please contact us. We will set it up for you. We're not going to announce it, so we're not going to put it on the course page that everybody can have access to that, where they say, well, how come them but not us? Well, because Canadians are now paying 40% more and they shouldn't have to. Mind you, it's not always 40%, but that's what it was yesterday. So we're going to be doing a 20% reduction to be able to help people make it more affordable. Our costs have gone through the roof. I wish I could give you more of a discount than that, but that kind of helps offset the fact that our expenses have gone up tremendously over the last 7 years and we haven't increased any of our course fees. So we're kind of trying to meet you halfway. I hope this helps you. I know that some of you have been wanting to enroll in, for instance, our pediatrics program. Our next cohort will be starting this January and February, but they're probably holding off because of funds. So hopefully this will make it more accessible. Also, you should know that if you would like to have a partial payment plan and not pay by credit card or not pay by PayPal, you can contact us and we can set up an account for you. This is something new, whereby you can go in and you can pay directly on monthly payments through your bank account. So sometimes we've had people say, can I pay you directly? I don't want to use a credit card, or no, I don't use PayPal, right? But we don't want to work through Interact e-Transfer. Interact e-Transfer was never designed, for commercial purposes. But with our provider, which is Stripe, we can set up something for you so that you can have a partial payment plan and you can pay directly from your bank if you want to bypass using your credit card for whatever reason. Just to know that that option is there. So if you're a Canadian practitioner, if you go on and you see our self-paced courses, we're just going to add a little line across the top that's going to say, are you a Canadian practitioner? ? Contact us. And that's our cue for you to contact us so that we can give you either a coupon code to be able to enroll with a 20% off the enrollment fee, or 20% off the enrollment fee and set up a partial payment plan. Either one. You can send us an email at ceosteopathy@gmail.com or give us a call, 438-865-6355. Please keep your calls to business hours only, please. I really don't work at 10 o'clock at night or 5 o'clock in the morning. So I know that sometimes a lot of you would really like to be able to talk to us after work, but you have to remember that I am also working during the day and I have to knock off work and be healthy and happy. So our office hours are 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. No later than that. I think taking calls till 7 o'clock is pretty good. On Fridays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only. So give us a call if there's a course that you would like to enroll in, or send us an email. We'll set up a coupon code for you with a 20% discount, and that can be applied to any one of the courses that have a partial payment plan. For instance, the combined biomechanics of cranial osteopathy 65-hour course has a partial payment plan of several months if you want. Mind you, if you need that course in order to be able to enroll in something else, and you want to be able to start that something else soon, don't take the 6-month partial payment plan, because your course does need to be paid off before we can issue your certificate of completion. I think that's only logical. So keep that in mind when you're choosing a partial payment plan, but take advantage of them, and definitely please take advantage of our 20% discount that we'll be offering. I can't say when we're going to end it. I know it's definitely going to be something that will be valid throughout the remainder of this calendar year 2025, and we'll see how the economy goes. A self-paced course, or all of our courses, you know that you have 365 days of access to the program or to the online course and the material. So if you enroll in a self-paced course, and this is just a little, aside, if you want, you can enroll in a self-paced course now that we are offering the 20% discount, and perhaps only start it in January or February if you want. That's fine. We know that when people take self-paced courses, it's either because they want to work through it very quickly. Maybe they have a CEU deadline. Don't work through it too quickly though. If it's meant to be a 12-chapter course, obviously if you were to do 1 chapter a week, it would be 12 weeks. Maybe you do 2, it may be 6 weeks, but please don't take a 20-chapter course and submit your homework a week later. We won't accept that. We want you to take the time to study. Self-paced means you need a bit more time. You need a little bit less time because, you can do 2 chapters a week instead of just 1. Or maybe you want to take advantage of the 20% discount that we're trying to offer now because the economy is not what we'd like it to be. And you're thinking that you're going to start the course maybe over the holidays or in January and February when maybe your clinic is a little bit quieter. That's an option too. So take a look on our website. As I mentioned before, when you see the notation, are you a Canadian practitioner? ? Contact us. That's your cue to contact us. That means that course is eligible for a 20% discount for Canadian practitioners only. And if you want to discuss different options, like I mentioned earlier, of paying directly from your bank and bypassing a credit card, we can do that. If you just need a coupon code of 20% off and you want to drop us an email at ceosteopathy@gmail.com, Amanda can take care of that. Amanda often answers students' emails over the weekend. She is reserved to work with our students mainly through email, and she does a couple of hours on the weekend. But generally speaking, if it's a self-paced course, we're going under the assumption that you're not rushing for a certain deadline. And as I mentioned earlier, we are not going to be offering courses that start on a particular start date. I'll send out a message telling you a little bit more about some of the subscriptions that we have coming up in the new year. It might be something that might interest you, maybe not. We think a lot of people are going to like the idea, but we'll get more into that when everything is ready, very close to being ready and ready to launch. In the meantime, I want to wish you a really great rest of the new year. I know that in some parts of Canada, there's been snowstorms. Today here, we're having a rather cloudy day. We had a beautiful summer and autumn, but now we're having a cloudy day, and I think you can see it in the light in the room. But please do contact us, set up a mentoring session if you would like. The mentoring sessions are generally regarding the course material that we offer. But if you say, I have a question on a certain subject, you have an instructor who is good on that subject, can I get some help? Can I get some help with how to set up my business, how to set up my prices, my clientele, clinic management aspects of things, all of the non-technical stuff. That's something that I myself, as a business owner and developer, I've been very good at from the very beginning of my career. So if you have a subject that you're looking for mentoring on, if you are able to travel to the Montreal area and you want to do some mentoring sessions with me, our small group training center, this is one of the things that we use it for. I do a lot of one-on-one trainings with people. Otherwise, virtually works very well if you have questions. And if you're looking for maybe just a quick explanation or demonstration, like I did recently where I was showing one of our students the hand positions when you're doing different cranial treatments. Very often cranial work is something that you can't do in isolation. And so that's why we've included 2 mentoring sessions within the 65-hour course now, designed for you to do it as you're halfway through, and then the other mentoring session to do that with me towards the end of the course. It allows you to be able to ask all of those questions and have contact with your instructor live rather than going back and forth by email. So one thing that you'll see in the new year is that I myself am not going to be spending as much time reviewing homework and giving you feedback written through email. One moment. I'll be honest with you. It's better. I'll be honest with you and say that I've been writing feedback to students with their homework for 7 years now for our online courses. And it's growing tedious for me. It's kind of like I'm ready for a new job. So this is one of the reasons why we've gone back to live mentoring sessions. Also, sometimes students have questions and they write, long emails, and I say, you know what, this is going to be too difficult to have a back and forth email conversation. Let's get on the phone. And so here's where mentoring sessions of an hour or an hour and a half to be able to answer all of your questions help round out your training so that you have the convenience of being able to learn on your own at your own pace, but also that you have access to the instructor to be able to answer your questions when the time comes. And if you are ready and willing to come down to my training center in Montreal, which is where I've been based the last few years, we can also arrange some one-on-one tutoring. So the good news is 20% discount on all of the self-paced courses on some of our other programs as well. If you're not sure if a course has the 20% discount, just look for the phrase, "Are you a Canadian practitioner?" Contact us at the top of the course page and contact us or call us and we'll set up your 20% discount for you.